Hello world, welcome to my channel where I'm building my own digital assistant named Shane, like Jarvis from the Iron Man movies and comics. A big part of what I consider a digital assistant is this kind of economic project I'm building called the Financial Genome Project. And this is where I get all the economic data of the city I live in and then the state and etc. And not just to predict outcomes or get insights, but to control outcomes for me. So I'm big into personal finance. So I would love to have a system of my digital assistant to interact with the economic system of where I live. So that's kind of the gist of it. But in today's video, this is kind of an introduction to a GeoJSON file and how you can get all the addresses for your city that you live in. And so this website right here, openaddresses.io. So this is an open source place where you can get address data. And so it's mostly the street names and house numbers, depending on where you are, with some geo coordinates, again, depending on where you're from. So there's a lot of ways to do that. So you can view download options, which is where we're going to go. And so this is the US right here. These are all the places, these green areas where it has addresses. So you can download the whole US South, which is where I live, and that would be 11 gigs. And it was updated November 16th, but that just means one element was updated on November 16th. So you can click here if you want and look at the download options. We'll do that in a second. But here's all the separate entities that you can download. So I've already done this, so I know where mine is at. So we're going to start off with US, right? And then I live in Louisiana, so LA. And then we're going to do the city of Bossier. That's where I live right here. So we can expand that. And you can see that it was actually, this part right here was last downloaded or last updated in 2020, August 21st of 2020. So it's still better than anything I can do manually. So I do want to use this. So you can click this download option and you can see that there are several files. So we can, if we want, just go straight to CSV, right? Download it straight to Excel and then manipulate it. But I do want the ability to have a GeoJSON in my Python program. And so that's what we're going to do. So you'll click on the GeoJSON file. And then you'll see you have to be a part of this right here. So this is free, but you'll have to create an account. I already have one. So I'm going to log in. Okay, so I am logged in now. So we can go back to this right here and see the city of Bossier, come back, and then now we can download the GeoJSON. Right, so it will show up in your folder. It's much smaller than 11 gigs. So it will be a zip file. I've already downloaded this before, so we can click in here. And now you can see you have a GeoJSON file. I've already opened it in a text. So the first time you open it, you're going to get that open with question mark dialog box. Just check it out in text. And as you can see, mine does not have the postcode, but it has the number, the street address, and then the geo coordinates right here. And it has a lot of addresses. I think 15,000. We'll check it out when we go into Excel. So you can go ahead and extract that, or you can just pull it out of the zip file and then put it in your project folder. So in PyCharm, right here, wherever you're doing it, if you can do a new project, that's fine. But you're going to want to put it in this folder here. So mine was called City of Bossier Addresses, city.geojson when I downloaded it. I think this is just called source. But I think when you extract it, it will change names. But whatever. Put it in your project folder. If you don't want to put it in your project folder, that's fine. This is where your projects go right here. And so now that we're in Python, we're going to simply just put it into Excel. So like I said, we can just download it in Excel, but I want this to be in Python for if we need to use it somewhere else. So from pathlib, import path, import JSON, from JSON, import JSON decode error, and then we're going to import pandas as PD. These three are all part of your standard library, so you don't have to do anything with those. Panda is not, so you can either go to command prompt and pip install it, or if you're in PyCharm, you can go to settings, go to your project name, Python interpreter, and then just search for pandas, and then import that, install the package. All right, so this is the input path. So we're going to put input path equals path, and then you put the file in there. If it's in your project folder that you see here, then you just reference it directly. If not, if you put it somewhere else, like your documents folder, you would simply, I think it's capital actually. You would do it like that and put exactly where the path is, okay? But since this is in our folder right here, then we simply put that. And then we're going to put the output path equals input path dot with suffix dot xlsx. So all we're going to do is keep this name right here. And then with this with suffix method, it's going to save it as a .xlxs, which you can see here. It already did it. And so the first function we're going to do is load the features. We're going to pass it the path. So text equals path.readText. The encoding is just standard English coding. Then we're going to strip. And then we're going to try this as just a normal JSON file. So try object equals JSON.loads text. If is instance. Now we're going to look for two things, either feature collection or feature. And then we're going to return one of those objects depending on what it is. So as you can see here, the first one is type feature, and I already went through this. I did not see any feature collection. Yeah, so it's all feature. So it's gonna default to this one. So if is instance object in the dictionary and object.get type is feature, which I just showed you, then we're just gonna return this. If not, it's going to accept the JSON decode error and then pass. So that's the first thing it's going to do. It's going to look for this file. Then we're going to do an empty dictionary called features. And then for each line in the text.splitLines, we're going to do a line.strip. If there's no line, then we just continue. And then the feature equals JSON.loadsLine. So what we did is basically separated each of those lines out. So if the is instance and there's something in the feature, then features.append. So we're going to upload all the data into this. If there's like a bad line or something that doesn't have any information in the dictionary, it's just going to skip over that silently. So with 15,000 lines, you don't want potentially to run this and get 15,000 errors all up in your console. So then we're going to go into the main. So if the path exists, or if not, so if the input path does not exist, let's say you have a spelling error or something, it's going to throw this file not found error, and then it's going to say could not find that path, so you can adjust that. And then the features, which is that empty dictionary, equals load the features input path. If there's no features, we're going to raise a runtime error, meaning there was nothing in that file. And then for rows, we're going to create a separate dictionary. So for F in features, first we're going to get the properties. F.get equals properties. And then the street number is number equals string properties.get number. And then we're going to strip out any weird spaces. Then the street, let me show you what I'm talking about again. So what it's doing is it's going into here, properties first, and then it's looking for number, which is right here, and then it's going into street. So that's all we're doing is assigning these separate variables. And then only entries that have both fields, we're going to say if there's a number and a street. So basically, if those two exist, then we're going to add it to this empty rows. So rows.append number and street. And then just in the console for testing, we're going to print that string number and street. If there's no rows, we're going to raise a runtime error. I don't know, maybe you uploaded the wrong file and it found the file, but whatever's in it is empty. I don't know, but you'd get a runtime error. And then this is just something optional that I wanted. I wanted all the street numbers, or all the streets in order, and then all the numbers in order. So it goes by sort values, by street first, and by number. This is something new in PyCharm. If you are new to PyCharm and you're just copying what I have here, don't copy this by. This is a PyCharm helpful function right now. Don't actually type that in there. See how it's grayed out? Let me click off of it. Don't type that. Then we're going to ignore the index. We don't care about whatever index started it. And then we're going to write all this to Excel. So df, that's our data frame that we just created, .to Excel. We're going to put it in the output path. Index equals false. Sheet name is called addresses. You can name that whatever you want. And then at the very bottom, it's going to say print. Wrote the length of rows to this. So mine was like 15,000. And then we're going to start the program. So if name equals main, then run the main. So I'm not going to run this because I already did. It did not take very long to do this at all. I think it's because there's not a lot of data. If, for example, you wanted the geo coordinates and you broke this down even farther, like longitude equals string props dot get, and then you do the longitude and latitude, I don't know, it might take a little longer to pull everything. But for now, I just want that. And so, so after you run it, if everything worked, you should get no errors. And then you can go to whatever your file was called. And this is what it looks like. So we got the number and the street. It's in order of the street. And then if you press Control down in Excel, it'll go to the last available row. Oh, so 51,956. And as you can see, it is arranged by alphabetically by the street name, even though the columns are number first, then street name. And then within the street name, the numbers are in order. So that's a good introduction into GeoJSON files. We didn't do anything with longitude and latitude yet. So this was just kind of an introduction to openaddresses.io and how just GeoJSON file. It is basically just a JSON file with a dictionary, but these have GeoJSON and there's you can use it like that as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're doing any kind of project that uses it, please leave a comment and tell me what you're working on. And if it helped you, as always, please leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel. And thanks for watching. Goodbye, world.